For Vayikra, Parshat Emor, on counting the Omer. In Parshat Emor, Leviticus chapter 23 gives us a sense of Jewish time. God tells Moshe that there are to be 6 work days followed by Shabbat. Passover is observed each spring for 7 days, 8 outside of Israel. And we learn that on Passover, there would be an offering of 1 Omer, a unit of measurement of grain. The Parsha goes on to tell us, and from the day on which you bring the sheaf of elevation offering, the day after Shabbat, you shall count off 7 weeks. They must be complete. You must count until the day after the 7th week, 50 days. Then you shall bring an offering of new grain to the Lord. While with no temple, the offerings at the beginning and the end of the Omer are no longer something we practice, of course, counting off the 7 weeks, the 49 days, between Pesach and Shavuot remains a mitzvah, and one that's been imbued with spiritual meaning. First, we can look to the purpose of the grain offerings themselves. In a society that lives and dies based on its harvests and the toil that goes into them, it was easy to think that reaping the fruits of our labor is all about us, a reward for what we've done. Offering some of it back to God, though, reminded the Israelites that actually we can't take credit for all that much. We didn't create the seeds, provide the rain and sunlight, or cause the crops to sprout from the ground. Our work is needed, but it is nothing by itself. Further, Shavuot in the Jewish tradition has come to commemorate the giving of the Torah at Har Sinai, at Mount Sinai. And if we're not currently so concerned about the grain offering, the practice of counting the 49 days can instead be about becoming morally prepared to receive the Torah, to refine our character to live up to the freedom and laws we are given. We learn that the necessary response to liberation is responsibility. Once you're free, you need to be accountable in order to have justice in your society and work for the liberation of others. The journey from liberation to revelation must be a process that we maintain our momentum in by reaffirming daily. Rabbi Nachman taught, that is the reason Scripture says in Leviticus 23:16, you shall count 50 days, since there are surely 50 gates of wisdom, which is the concept of the revelation of the light of the Ein Sof, be blessed, in order to relate to the aspect of reflection about the greatness of the Ein Sof, blessed be God. To get to the origin, Rabbi Nachman shared, these are the 49 aspects which are hinted to in the verse, First Book of Chronicles, 29:11. And that verse teaches, yours, Lord, are greatness, might, splendor, triumph, and majesty. Yes, all that is in the heaven and on the earth, to you, Lord, belong kingship and preeminence above all. The Kabbalists take these 49 days to each represent a different combination of the 7 lower sefirot, or attributes of God. By meditating daily on loving kindness, strength, glory, victory, splendor, foundation, and kingship, we can purify our actions to be better in accordance with the will of God. Once we've studied all 49 combinations of these character traits, we're ready for the 50th gate, revelation. Rabbi Nachman goes on, and that is why it is written, you shall count 50 days, to be enmeshed in the 50th gate in which and through which there is a revelation of I am. A related practice is to study one chapter of Pirkei Avot, the ethics of the father, on Shabbat afternoon during each week of the Omer. This is another way to dedicate ourselves to improvement over this long stretch of time, symbolizing the journey from enslavement to responsibility at Har Sinai. If you've tried to make major changes to your life, you know that they can't happen in one day or in one week. Growth needs to be iterative, and we all lose focus here and there. The quite simple practices around counting the Omer help gently bring us back to focus over the course of these 7 weeks. It takes a long time to form positive habits, and 49 days are what it takes to fully internalize the gifts, Pesach, and Shavuot. Like the Israelites, we can find a shift in our mentality from resentment to empowerment. We can realize that one of the biggest factors that holds us back from fulfilling our potential is blame. People blame others for why they don't have what they want and why they don't have to do what's right. But committing every day to this one mitzvah can teach us to slowly become the responsible beings we want to be. By journeying into ourselves over 7 sets of 7 days, a week of weeks, we learn all about our natural tendencies so that on the 50th day, we can access the supernatural outside of us and within us, bringing them together. This can be similar to the celebrating of Yovel, the Jubilee year every 50 years. We live in a goal-oriented society. We're constantly trying to quantify and attain the right numbers for weight loss, wealth accumulation, and our personal achievements. Character growth, though, is qualitative. We can't say that we've scored 15 points of loving kindness today. By giving character qualities the vessel of this oddly specific measurement of time, we can learn to focus on the immeasurable, on what truly matters. Just as the ancients would proudly wave an Omer of bound grain, may we merit to proudly raise and demonstrate our weeks of virtue development this spring. Shabbat Shalom.